Hello and welcome everyone. This is our June Learn and Earn for 2018, and today we are going to be talking about when the going gets tough. How do we cope through change? And today's presenters are...
Well, hey guys, my name is Nate Gonzalez. I'm the health consultant for Apopka Winter Garden and Laundry Services, and I'm excited to be a part of the Creation Health team and be involved with a whole bunch of passionate individuals who are just ready to encourage and inspire others in their health journey.
And my name is Amanda Saxton, and I'm the health consultant for East Orlando, Maitland, and Lake Destiny. And I love working with our Creation Health team and really seeing people change their lives and being able to impact people in that way. So we're excited to inspire change with you guys today.
So the objectives that we want to hit in today's Learn and Earn is how we respond to change, the change process, practical tips for how to cope, and then also give you resources to help you with change in your life.
All right, so sometimes you may feel like this guy. Why, yes, I'm a bit stressed. Why do you ask? Okay, so some of us may be going through a transition or a change right now. In fact, I can guarantee that many of us are going through a change, whether we realize it or not. And the reality is that change can be scary and it can be stressful. For example, you may have some workplace change. You may have a new role or a promotion, or you may even have a friend or family member, even you, who's had a job loss, or it could even be as simple as having software changes at work, because we know that can be a huge shift in changes. Also, new team members that come to our team, that can be a shift in and change for us. Also, personal change. Maybe you are going through a move, or a family member is sick, or you have a new child in your life, or even as simple as new traffic patterns on I-4 that happens daily. I know that can stress me out when we have those changes.
So the reality is that change is happening right now. In fact, we hope that as a result of being a part of this Learn and Earn, you will make a positive change in your life. The definition of change is to make or become different, move from one to another, to progress, moving away from what feels comfortable. At some point in life, we have to make changes. In fact, change is a necessary part of life. If you're going through change right now, congratulations. This is completely normal. You see, we tend to resist change, and sometimes we even avoid it, refusing to accept the transition. Change is going to happen. It's a part of life. It's inevitable. Growth is optional, but growth requires change. Do you see change as an opportunity? If so, I want to encourage you. If you're in the middle of a change right now, do not quit. Keep going and see change as an opportunity to grow.
Awesome. Thank you, Nate. And also I want to encourage you too. There's a verse in Ecclesiastes that says, "To everything there is a season, for every activity under heaven. He has made everything beautiful in its time." And I love this verse because really, as we go through seasons of life, there are seasons we go through, and we're not supposed to stay the same. And also, God makes everything beautiful in its time and its season. So sometimes we may respond to changes in different ways, and let's go through some of those responses that we have to change. So the first one could be, "I can't wait." So this is when you choose the change in your life and you know what is coming. So for example, you could be getting married or starting a new job, or even retiring, or even as simple as upgrading your new cell phone. Because that's a change that you can choose. The next one is, "Oh no, I know I have to." This happens whether we choose to change or not. So an example of this could be sending your kids to college or even kindergarten, or you go to your doctor and you realize that your health is at risk, so you have to start a new fitness or diet program. And so these can be significant changes. The other one is, "Please don't make me." No, the situation comes, and this one is when you did not ask for it and someone or something else has initiated that change. So an example of this could be a reduction in pay, a new software program at work, or even just a change in a relationship. The next one is, "What now? Where do I start?" this change happens suddenly and even unexpectedly. So this could be an illness or a death in the family or even a natural disaster. And so some of the reasons that we may respond this way to change is that we may be fearful of failure or fear of the unknown, or our quote unquote normal is disrupted and we may feel unsafe or threatened. Also, sometimes we don't want phony change. We want it to be real. And so we may go through these different responses to change in our life.
All right, so now we want to illustrate to you what happens to your brain during the change process and why change can be so hard. It's this thing called neuroplasticity. And this is where the brain's ability to form new connections throughout your life, aka the adapting to change. But let's talk about this in simple terms. Think about hiking a mountain. Often there's a clear trail before you. Maybe you've even hiked many times on this path and it is well worn. This is how our brain works over time with neurons and synapses which make connections. Now let's take a look at how our brain works when we try to make that change.
Okay, so watch closely at the screen here. So I'm going to shift and we're going to make a change. So you see how that new path is being formed. And so this is when neurons in our brain start to connect, but the old ones are no longer as worn. And we have to blaze a new trail when change occurs. And that means that we have to start to let go of the old path. And then that old trail fades away and the new trail becomes the new path. And so it doesn't mean that that old path is completely gone. It just means that the new path is being forged now. And so it's also going to be really hard work, but eventually you'll see that this change can become a lot easier as you go through this new trail. So now let's see how we can better understand these seasons of change that we go through.
All right, so the first season of change that we want to talk about is fall. And as we go through this, I want you to think about the change that you are going through right now, right here in this moment, and try to see where you are in this process as we talk about these different seasons. So fall is a time where we want to say goodbye. We gather a harvest from a past season, but we also have to let that go. It's time to break down old patterns. Before you embrace a new beginning, you have to let go of the old. You have to reflect on the past season. So these feelings of sadness, negative emotions, you have to let that go. The one tip that we want to be able to provide you is that letting go is very important. It is okay to let things go. We have to make that choice. For example, there are people, routines, environment, old ways of doing things. Also, we have to give up those old things so that we're able to envision these new things in our lives.
Thank you, Nate. That's a great example. And an example I want to share with you guys is moving to a new city. So I moved to a new city a couple of years ago, and I really had to let go of my old ways of doing things and recognize that I had to enter into a new season. And so sometimes entering that new season, we can have a season of winter that comes about. And the season of winter can be that in-between gap, that where we're in between the old and the new. And we also may have resistance to change. And remember those responses that we went through. We may have a lot of those feelings, maybe even feelings of confusion or sadness, or maybe grumbling about this winter season. But we can also see this as an opportunity to learn about yourself and when we learn how to handle the winter seasons of life, we're better equipped to go through things and go into those next seasons. Also, I want to encourage you to seek out support from others. Don't isolate, but really lean on others for support. And a really cool thing from nature is that during a winter season, oftentimes it looks like everything is dead, and oftentimes things are dead. But the reality is that a lot of things are happening inside that are very crucial in order for spring to come. So the sap is actually preserved, and the roots are growing down deep, and it's allowing for the fruit to produce in abundance in those next seasons. So I encourage you, if you're feeling like you're in a winter season right now, there's a lot of things happening, and God is doing a lot of awesome work during this winter season. So for example, when I was in that new city, I didn't know anyone, and I really felt isolated and lonely. But I really had to recognize that this was also a great opportunity to grow and really allow those roots to grow down deep.
So the next season we want to speak about is spring. And in spring, we want to let go of that old by looking forward. Explore the possibilities, and in those possibilities, there's going to be anticipation, there's going to be excitement. You're going to feel a little bit more comfortable with that anticipation of what's coming next. You're going to have new energy and that excitement about what is going on in this new season of your life. But the tip we want to give you is don't look back. Fully embrace what is in front of you in this new season of your life. And incorporating the creation health principles, we want to look at outlook, trust, and interpersonal relationships when meeting new people, when getting into a new routine or exploring the city and getting to know your way around this new place, this new opportunity in your life.
And going along with that example, in this spring season, I did just that, Nate. I had to meet new people. I had to explore, and I was starting to get to know my way around, and it really looked bright. And I was coming out of that winter season and from that entering into that spring season. But then after spring comes summer. And this is where we're comfortable with the new and we're feeling more optimistic and we can actually maybe see the benefits of change. We're able to look back on those changes and notice how we've grown. Also, I want to encourage you too to really help others see the value of the change. Maybe those who are not in that summer season, because we all go through seasons of life, and even when we go through this process throughout our lives, we may be in different seasons in different areas of our life. So just because you're in one season in one area doesn't mean that you may not be in a winter season in another area or vice versa. And so as that example with moving, if I want to share with that again, is during the summer season, I felt really excited about this new city. And I was also able to recognize that the fall and winter season was actually a really necessary part in order to get to where I was now, to really fully embrace the summer season. So we want to share with you guys some truths to remember during a season of change.
So that first truth is that everything is for a reason in its season. You want to acknowledge that change is happening and that you cannot get from point A to point B overnight. This is a process. When one season has ended, know that God is allowing you the opportunity to enter into a new season, and it's going to look different. And that's what we want to expect because it is new. It's a new season in our life. The second is we can't enter into a new season when we're still carrying the old season's baggage. Like we talked a little earlier, we have to let things go. And sometimes those things may be relationships, expectations, or maybe even physical items or materials that we have. We have to allow the old to go and to make room for that new, and to be aware and recognize that change comes with loss. There is nothing there was going to be some sadness or fear of the unknown, but that's when we have to have faith in knowing that this new season is going to be okay.
And the next truth we want to share is that God always wants us to grow, and recognizing that this process of growth is a lifetime process and we will never arrive, but God continually wants us to keep growing. So I want to ask you a question, and just think about it in your mind right now. Would you want to know what would happen every moment of every day for the rest of your life? I don't know, Nate, would you want to know?
I don't know about that.
I don't know if I want to know, but gosh, knowing everything that would happen every moment of every day, you know what was planned out in front of you. Well, a study was actually done that shows that the majority of people do not want to know. And the reality is that the change process, it shakes things up, and it even shakes us up, and it changes us as we grow. And also, I don't know about you, but it also makes life fun, right? I don't think I wouldn't want to know what would happen every moment, because then that, like, sometimes we may want that predictability, but it doesn't allow for spontaneity and for fun. And we have to recognize that God is fully with us in that change process, and it's actually for our benefit and for our good. The next truth we want to share with you is that what you are going through today becomes the building blocks for tomorrow. And so sometimes we go through difficult and painful seasons in life. And I don't want to pretend to know what you're going through right now. I know a lot of us are struggling with a lot of different things. But also we have to recognize that we cannot be who God has created us to be, or even who we need to be in the next season, without this season of change as a foundation. So I want to encourage you guys to recognize that what you're going through today becomes the building blocks for tomorrow. And the next thing I want to leave you guys with too is to never quit or give up in the middle of a transition. I want you to show up every day and keep persevering and also be expectant for what is to come. I encourage you to ask God for help because He is cheering you on and He wants you to finish what you started and continue through the full process of change. And guess what? It is going to be worth it. So keep persevering.
All right, so next what we want to do is give you some practical tips on how to cope when change enters your life. That first thing that we want to give you is to pray and ask God for wisdom. Cry out to Him. Be brutally honest. Be transparent because at the end of the day, He already knows what you're going through anyway. And what we want to do is to be able to seek His guidance. I know for me, when I'm dealing with change or there's some moments in my life where I don't know where to go, I pray this serenity prayer, which says, God, grant me the serenity to accept things that I cannot change, courage to change things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
That's definitely a great prayer and something I pray too, Nate, because sometimes I just need that wisdom to know the difference. Also, we want to recognize the stressors in our life and recognize what situation or person stresses you out the most during the season of change. And we want to encourage you guys to be aware of what triggers you to be stressed out and also take steps to reduce those stressors and make an effort to recover from them. And we'll talk about a program that we have that can help you guys with that at the end.
Another very important element is to maintain priorities. Stay focused on what are the big rocks in your life during this change. What are those big mountains, those things in front of you that are happening during this season? You may just be in survival mode, just trying to make it. But what is the priority that you have to focus on? For some people, it may be establishing a time with God, or maybe time with their family, their spouse, their children. Some people need to focus on getting enough sleep, living a healthier lifestyle, and then actually incorporating some physical activity into their routine as well.
And the next tip we want to give you is to focus on what you can control because, Nate, I don't know about you, but there's a lot of things that I can't control. And sometimes we want to focus on those things we can't control, but the reality is that we have to focus on our attitude and also the decisions that we make and recognize how we respond to things that come up in our life. We can control those decisions and be aware of that.
I know for me, one of the things that I tend to not do as well when I deal with change is seeking out support, seeking out people that are going to help me during this process. It may be a difficult season, but it's important to lean on others, not to isolate yourself, but reach out to the people that can actually help you during this time. Maybe it's someone who has gone through something similar who can really give you the tools to help you make it through this season.
Also, we've been talking about this a lot, but choose to grow through the change. And like we mentioned earlier, change is a great opportunity to grow because I don't know about you, but if I'm not growing, I'm staying stagnant. And that's not a good place to be. We want to continue to grow through the change and don't give up, but recognize that there are great opportunities for growth on the other side. And so sometimes we may be fearful of what is on the other side of change. But I love this quote by Corrie ten Boom, and she really explains it well. She says, "Never be afraid to trust an unknown future to a known God." And I love that because oftentimes we go through things that are scary or things that we don't know that are shaking us up a lot. And I just encourage you guys to recognize that God is known and He will make Himself known. We just have to trust Him.
All right, so this is very important. What we want you to be able to do with everything that we've given you, all the information, is to choose one step that is going to help you during this transition of change. And just to give you a little recap, those steps are: one, to pray and ask God for wisdom, to recognize the stressors, to maintain priorities, those big rocks in your life, those things that we have to kind of mark with importance, then focus on what you can control. And then lastly, one of the things we want to do is seek out support and then grow through that change as well.
All right, so the moment you've all been waiting for, it's our secret phrase. So just to reiterate, at the end of this Learn and Earn, you're not done until you do a survey and you input the correct secret phrase into the survey to get your 5 points for attending this Learn and Earn, okay? So that secret phrase is... God makes all things beautiful in its time. And so that is that secret phrase. If you will input that into the survey, you guys will, it takes a little time for the results to be uploaded into your WebMD account, but make sure you input that secret phrase in and you'll be good to go. But first we have some resources that we want to share with you that can help you. So the first one is that EAP program. It's called Employee Assistance Program. And many people may not know about this, but this is a free resource where you can go to this website and you can request to have at least 5 counseling sessions, 5 free counseling sessions per issue. Also, there's a lot of great resources on coping with change, on family relationships, on parenting, marriage, and work-life balance, and all those things. And you can use this username and passwords, AHS, and you can go to mylifevalues.com. Also, you can find this on Insight, but you can access that great resource there.
Some other resources that we have are some other courses that you can register for. So we have the stress recovery effect, and we all know that not all stress is bad, but we need to learn on how to cope with stress. And we're going to be able to provide you with tools through one of our courses. And then lastly, we have the rest of your life, which is going to kind of just give you different areas to focus on rest outside of sleep, things that you may not be aware of. And this is how you can register. You can go to creationhealthemployees.com so that you'd be able to register for those classes with us.
Awesome. And just to reiterate, you can earn 15 points for your wellness program by attending those courses. And they're 4 hours long, and you will get paid. So our hourly employees can get paid for that. Just talk with your manager before you register. Also, just to reiterate, we will have your points loaded at the end of the quarter. Make sure, again, you take that survey with the correct secret phrase. And also, I want to encourage you guys to log into your WebMD account to check your points, because guess what? October 30th is going to come up really quick, and that's the deadline for when all your points need to be in. But this is a really cool sheet on your left here, and it's called the RX for Success. So this is a sheet where you can go down the lines and input what you still need to earn or what you have done and see the point value and how many you've earned and what you still need to get for the wellness program. Now, I will email that to you at the end of the month, so look out for that around the beginning of July once everyone has taken the Learn and Earn, and you can be able to fill that out. All right, so we just want to reiterate, well, thank you for attending this Learn and Earn today.
Thank you guys for listening. We had a great time being able to talk to you about this, and we can't wait to give you more information on the Learn and Earns to come.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.